The modern day 4x4 large SUV is a monument to versatility, but golly gee, they're getting expensive, which is why we've lined up these two budget price challenges. You've got the affordable Mitsubishi Pajero Sport and the downright bargain priced Mahindra Scorpio. So, whose team are you on, Mitsubishi or Mahindra? Have your say in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the Car Sales channel. The Mitsubishi is a known quantity. Built in Thailand, while it may have old bones, it's proven, capable, affordable, and comes with an unbeatable warranty of up to 10 years. The Mahindra comes from India and is attempting to challenge the status quo. While it can't match the Mitsubishi safety systems or warranty, its humble price makes it very appealing. This mid-spec Pajero Sport GLS is priced from around $55,000 before on-road costs are added. And our vehicle comes with the deluxe pack, which adds leather seats and a few other bits and bobs for around $2,200, taking on-road price to around $60,000, give or take. Not bad, but the top spec Mahindra Z8L is priced at $45,990, drive away, no more to pay, making it roughly $15,000 cheaper than the Mitsubishi. So, right now, based on price, the Mahindra is certainly winning this contest. But when it comes to after-sales support and cost of ownership, the Mitsubishi claws back ground with a stronger 10-year warranty if serviced at an authorised Mitsubishi dealership, compared with Mahindra's still impressive 7-year backing. The Indian SUV also requires AdBlue exhaust after treatment. Both vehicles run 4-cylinder turbo diesel engines, 2.4 litres in the Mitsubishi, 2.2 litres in the Mahindra, and while it's a bit smaller, it's more modern and it's an all-aluminium rig. But because this one's bigger, it pumps out a bit more power, 133 kilowatts versus 129 kilowatts, and it's a similar story when it comes to torque. Bigger is brawnier. They're equipped with automatic transmissions, 8-speed in the Mitsubishi and 6-speed in the Mahindra, and both come with selectable 4-wheel drive systems featuring dual range transfer case with 2-wheel drive high, 4-wheel drive high, and 4-wheel drive low options. They both have 2 locking diffs, centre and rear, but the Mitsubishi's Super Select system is a bit cleverer and it can run in 4-wheel drive on all surfaces. Towing, 3,100 kilograms versus 2,500 kilograms, so bigger engine, a bit more towing capacity. All right, let's check out the interiors. Righto, the Mitsubishi is, well, fabulously unspectacular. It feels dated and dull, and material quality is cheap, scratchy, and hollow. But it is practical, roomy, and hardy, and these things are probably going to be more important to buyers than avant-garde visuals and soft-touch dash plastics. The optional power-operated seats for both front chairs offer good support, and while the leather quality is a bit naff, it feels almost like vinyl, it should be hard wearing. The audio and climate controls feel really shoddy and flimsy, but the steering wheel is adjustable both in and out and up and down. Storage solutions are pretty good. You've got this nice large pass-through area under here, a deep pocket for incidental storage, 2 spring-loaded cup holders. The central bin is medium-sized, as is the lockable glove box, not the biggest I've seen. You get sunglass holders here. There are 2 USB-A ports and an HDMI port too, interesting, but no USB-C. However, I do like the fact you've got the push-button park brake with auto hold. The 8-inch central touchscreen is small by modern standards, and while the menu system looks ugly and dated, the TomTom navigation is a nice touch. Plus, you can switch to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto if you want things to look and feel a lot more modern. There's no head-up display and no digital driver's display either. But look, the twin analog dials are really clear, and the tiny little trip computer in the middle has loads of meaningful info. There's a reverse-facing camera, rear parking sensors, and a 3D surround view, but picture quality is not great, and the screen reflects badly in sunshine. Okay, we're in the Mahindra, and right away it makes a far more potent visual statement than the drab Mitsubishi. The brown on black two-tone leather looks and feels good, and the overall design is far more modern and everything looks more expensive. Sure, you still get the cheap, scratchy materials on the interior, but the overall presentation is just much nicer and it's just as spacious. In fact, it's a little bit wider than the Mitsubishi. Unlike the Mitsubishi, only the driver's seat is power operated in 6 directions versus 10, with the front passenger making do with manual adjustment. While the synthetic leather is on par with its rival, the seats aren't quite as supportive, with shorter under-thigh cushioning and inferior lateral support. The steering wheel is only adjustable up and down, not in and out, and there's an old school manual park brake as well. That said, the audio and climate controls have a way more premium tactility. The Mahindra comes off second best in terms of storage solutions, with just one very basic central cup holder, a super shallow and offensively small central bin. There's no pass-through area under here, and the glove box is smaller and non-lockable. You do get the sunglasses holder, there's 2 USB-A ports, and I do like the fact you get a Sony sound system, which is way better than in the Mitsubishi, plus a powered sunroof. The Indian Adventurer has the same sized 8-inch central touchscreen as its rival, but is way more stylish. Plus, there's way more functionality and depth to the operating system. But it doesn't get GPS sat-nav like the Mitsubishi, which is disappointing. It does come with a wireless phone charger, however, plus Android Auto and Apple CarPlay to make everything look a little bit prettier. Analog dials like the Mitsubishi, yes, but they look a little bit nicer on this one, and a bigger central trip computer, 7 inches in this one, better resolution, more features. I like it. The reversing camera in the Mahindra has marginally better image quality and a wide-angle view, and you also get a front camera which is handy on and off-road. There's front and rear parking sensors, but no 360-degree top-down parking view. While the Mahindra misses out on a couple of items, it has a more sophisticated and appealing cabin design that makes it feel significantly more upmarket overall, and the impressive Sony sound system is the icing on the cake. But when it comes to safety, the Mitsubishi closes the gap because it's fitted with autonomous emergency braking, lane keep assist, and plenty more. The Mahindra gets none of these systems, nor does it have an ANCAP safety rating. So the Mitsubishi has quite an elevated rear seat, which gives passengers a very good view of their surroundings, but for taller types it does eat into headroom a little bit. Legroom's not too bad, knees plenty, feet a little bit tighter in there. I do like these grab handles, which make clambering in and out of the high-riding SUV a lot easier. Amenity is very good too. You've got twin USB-A ports, a conventional power point, 220 volt, 150 watt, super handy. Plug in all your appliances. I like the fact you've got separate fan controls for the second and third row seats as well, with the air vents, plus a fold out armrest with cup holders and the requisite ISOFIX and top tether anchorages for child seats. The third row seats are pretty tight for taller sorts, but perfect for kids. It doesn't look like it on the outside, but the Mahindra is taller and wider than the Mitsubishi, and although headroom's pretty similar, there's a little bit more legroom, a little bit more footroom, but just the sense of space and airiness is actually a bit better. There's only 2 individual seats in the second row, and they are super comfy, but Mahindra will do a 7-seat version with a triple bench here eventually. Compared to the Mitsubishi, you miss out on the grab handles here, which is a shame, and there's no air vents in the third row, but you do get separate fan control for these air vents, and there is a USB-C port back here, so faster charging for devices. And of course, there's also the ISOFIX and top tether child seat anchorages. The third row is ultra cramped, much more so than the Mitsu, and it's here that you sense the Mahindra isn't as long as its rival. There's no air vents for the third row either. Measuring just over 4.8 meters long, the Mitsubishi is a significant 16 centimeters longer than the Mahindra, and you see that most clearly right here in the boot with all the seats in place. You've got 131 litres to play with here versus, well, virtually 0 in the Mahindra. And it gets even better when you fold the seats down, because here They fold neatly and integrate into the boot floor. In the Mahindra, well, they do not. But at least the tailgate is hinged on the correct right-hand side for our roads. Both feature underslung full-size spare wheels, but in the case of the smaller Mahindra, this means its fuel tank is compromised, 57 litres versus 68 litres in the Mitsubishi. Despite the Mahindra starting strong with its super low price, the Mitsubishi has clawed back plenty of ground. Question is, can it keep up the pressure on and off the road? Cue the driving music. Despite being almost as old as Grandpa Simpson and feeling a bit lethargic in response to driver inputs, you know, steering, throttle, brakes, it's a pretty balanced cruiser and a fairly competent urban junglist as well. The engine pulls strongly and the 8-speed auto is a diligent operator, smooth and decisive in the main. It's also a great mile muncher, although the brake pedal feels very spongy and soft, and you have to really dig your boot in before it decelerates strongly. Rugged ute-based SUVs like this one are not traditionally designed for cornering, but with its double wishbone front suspension, it tracks pretty cleanly and predictably through corners and is certainly better than its donor car, the Mitsubishi Triton Ute. Ride comfort is par for the course in this class of vehicle, soft and supple without being too woolly. Refinement levels are below average due to a combination of that rattly, loud, agricultural diesel engine and a fair bit of wind noise around the mirrors and A-pillars. That said, outward vision is really good thanks to that elevated driving position. So how does this Mahindra compare? Well, quite favourably actually, and the first and most noticeable thing is the engine. It's more refined and it's quieter, and it gives the cabin a more upmarket feel. This is a lot nicer than I was expecting. Indeed, the engine is one of the more charming diesels I've driven in recent times and is so much more refined than in the Mitsubishi. It does run out of steam towards its 3,500 RPM rev limiter, but due to the car's light weight, it packs a reasonable mid-range punch at 2,000 RPM. The 6-speed gearbox is good, but not great. We observed a few rough shifts and thumps half a dozen times over 2 weeks. While the Mitsubishi feels more agricultural in the way it motivates and turns, with its heavier, slower steering, the Mahindra feels more like a conventional SUV and is a better urban explorer as a result. Its shorter size also makes it a lot easier to park. That said, the engine stop-start system was a bit glitchy and on 3 occasions required a complete engine restart. Furthermore, the cruise control was a bit strange. Every now and then it just simply would not engage. The handling dynamics are line ball with the Mitsubishi. For a rugged ladder chassis SUV, it does pretty well for itself with reasonable body control. In terms of ride comfort, it's again very close, but the Mahindra edges ahead with better initial bump absorption. When it comes to fuel economy, the Mahindra is well ahead. Its lighter weight and smaller, more modern engine contributing here. These two four-wheel drive SUVs are capable daily drivers and good family chariots during the week, but they're also weekend warriors, and it's time to hit the rough stuff to see which one is the best mud plugger. Back in the Mitsubishi, and I'm very familiar with its off-road chops, which are significantly meaty, having tested it several times before off-road, and it's great on gravel as well. It takes everything in its stride. Big hits, ruts, corrugations, it's all very predictable. All right, time for some more challenging terrain, and this Mitsubishi is a known quantity and it's very capable. A big part of that is reasonable ground clearance, but also a short front overhang. So you can be pretty confident you're not going to bash it on too many outcrops. And then there's also the Super Select four-wheel drive system, which has a lot of different modes. So you've got lots of options to dial things up And that mechanical locking rear diff is very handy in sticky situations. It's very useful for extricating this vehicle out of tough stuff. Okay, we're in the Mahindra on gravel roads, and the rear end doesn't feel quite as sorted, and it gets a little bit skittish, especially over corrugations and bumps, and that in turn means the traction control is chiming in a lot more often. Now for the rough stuff in the Mahindra, and this is exciting because I know Indian off-roaders have a reputation as being tough as nails. So I'm going to do the same track that I did in the Pajero Sport and see how it fares. The diesel engine is really great off-road, pretty similar to the Mitsubishi in that slow speed control. It's almost probably a little bit better thanks to that extra refinement. Very easy to control that. So here's the rub with the Mahindra. It is very capable. The four-wheel drive system is pretty good, but it's not quite as good as the Mitsubishis. On some very challenging sections where we've got 1 and 2 wheels off the road, it's struggling to put the power down to the wheels as quickly and as effectively as the Mitsubishi. And also the front overhang scraped a few times, whereas the Mitsubishis didn't. Also, that electronically controlled rear diff-lock can be felt opening and closing, and there's no control over it. You can't hit a button and say lock and stay locked, which can make things a little nerve-wracking at times. The Mitsubishi is a better off-roader and has slightly better on-road handling and certainly better safety features. But the Mahindra's creamy smooth and remarkably refined diesel engine, its marginally better ride comfort and its premium interior put it in very good stead. Despite its advancing years, the Mitsubishi Pajero Sport is a super solid performer. It's a bit like a leathery old bloke who's as strong as an ox and still surfs every single day. The Mahindra, it's much younger, a bit smarter and more sophisticated in many ways, and signals very clearly that the Indian brand is evolving and is ready to do battle in mature car markets. But even when it's 15 grand cheaper, it's difficult to give the win to the Mahindra when it misses out on so many crucial and potentially life-saving safety features. Plus, it can't tow or carry as much as the Mitsubishi. Nevertheless, this battle was a lot closer than I had expected. But at the end of the day, the Mitsubishi is the deserved winner. Thanks for watching, hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment on the video and let us know what you reckon. Would you pick the Mahindra or the Mitsubishi?